You ever notice how the people who actually have something to say are the ones who stay quiet the longest? Not because they don't have the words, not because they're afraid of being seen, but because somewhere along the way, someone convinced them that what they carry isn't special enough, that their story is too messy, their gift is too niche, that they need more time, more credentials, more proof before they're allowed to take up space. And meanwhile, the noise just keeps getting louder from the people who have absolutely nothing to say but won't shut up long enough to let you speak. If that resonates with you at all, you're in the right place. You guys, welcome to my brand new show, Listen Bitch Presents Tell Me Why You're Special. I am Brandon Lynette, and if you don't know me yet, here's what you need to know. I don't do toxic positivity, bullshit, motivational fluff. I don't do service level pep talks. I coach women, especially the neurospicy ones like me, who think in spirals and feel in waves and operate in patterns that the rest of the world can't always follow, to take massive responsibility for creating their future, not by waiting for permission, not by hoping someone else notices, but by stepping fully into the potential that Jesus already paid for. I want to help you co create your dream life with God. Listen, Bitch has always been about waking people up to what's already inside of them. And the show is the next layer of that. This is where you get to speak. And before we go any further, I'll just say this absolutely, this show is going to be looking for sponsors, real ones, brands that aren't just chasing clout, but actually believe in the calling and courage and in building something that matters, allowing people to have a platform for their voice. If your product or service aligns with personal responsibility, spiritual authority, and empowering people to show up fully, let's talk. Please go to brandonlynette.com and reach out because the show isn't just content, okay? It's a movement. And I'm going to be building this with people who get it. I want to talk a little bit about why the show exists, okay? Because nobody wants to say this out loud. Most people are not living in their calling. They're living in their comfort zone with a vision board taped to the wall. They're journaling about their dreams, but they're not building them. They're praying for open doors, but not walking through the ones already cracked. And I'm not saying that to shame anyone. I'm saying it because I've been there. I know what it feels like to know you're made for something and still talk yourself out of it every single day. Like, that feeling when you're laying in bed at night and your brain doesn't turn off because there's this idea or this project, this thing you can't stop thinking about. And you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it when I have more time. I'll wait until I feel ready. But like, bitch, tomorrow turns into next week and next week turns into next year. And that thing you were supposed to build, it's still just sitting there waiting, whispering and refusing to let you forget it. That is not anxiety. That is not overthinking. That is your calling trying to come out. And if your brain is any sort of neurodivergent like me and a lot of the people that I work with, that knock probably sounds like a full symphony at 2 a.m. with 50 browser tabs open in your mind and a Google Doc that you started 6 months ago that you're convinced is either genius or garbage, depending on the hour. Let me tell you what happens when you guys ignore that knock long enough, okay? You start resenting the people who didn't ignore theirs. You scroll social media and you see someone doing the thing you were supposed to do, and instead of celebrating them, you twist. You feel that nodding in your stomach, in your gut, that quiet voice that says that should have been me. And then the shame rolls in because now you're mad at yourself for being jealous, and you're mad at them for succeeding, and you're mad at God for giving you a vision that you can't seem to execute. And this is what I need you to hear. Like, that frustration, that restlessness, that's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're still alive to what God put in you. And the problem isn't the calling. The problem is that you've been waiting for it to feel easier before you obey. Um, you know, you're this human, and say you have a business idea, but you haven't launched because you're still trying to make the website perfect. You've rewritten your page about 17 times, and you've changed your brand colors 4 times, and you've convinced yourself that once you have the right logo, the right funnel, the right everything, then you'll be ready. But ready is a moving target. And every day that you wait, someone else is out there doing it scared and doing it messy and doing it imperfectly and actually making impact. Maybe you wrote the book. Maybe you did that. Okay. It's sitting on your hard drive, fully finished, but you haven't polished it because what if people don't like it? What if your family reads it and gets offended? What if it doesn't sell? What if you put your whole heart into something and the world just doesn't care? Or maybe you have a message, a testimony, a story that could literally change someone's life, but you don't think you're qualified to share it because you're not a pastor, you're not a coach, you don't have a platform, you don't have a following. So you stay silent, you keep your head down, you let the calling collect dust while you wait for someone to give you permission. And here's the biggest truth I can share with you tonight. Jesus already gave you permission. When he called you, when he saved you, when he put that thing inside you that won't let you sleep at night, that was the permission. Like the price was already paid. You don't need a cosign from the church, from your family, from the algorithm, or from anyone else. You just need obedience. And I know what you're thinking. But Brandon, what if I fail? What if I start and it doesn't work? What if I'm not special enough? And let me ask you this. What if you are? What if the reason you can't stop thinking about it is because it's yours to do? What if the reason it feels so hard is because it's supposed to stretch you? What if the reason you feel unqualified is because God specifically chooses the unlikely so no one can take credit but him? You guys think Moses felt ready? You think Esther felt confident? You think David looked at that fucking giant, okay, Goliath, and thought, "Yeah, I got this." No. They were scared, they were messy, they were human, but they moved anyway. And listen to me, if your brain works in loops, if you're hyper focused on the wrong things and forget the important ones, you have 12 unfinished projects and a constant consent to fear that is just growing, evolving inside your brain. You're creating this big, scary monster, and you're wasting your potential. And I see you. We have to stop consenting to this constant fear. And I'm telling you right now, this, it's a feature, okay? You were born with this. It is a constant download. It's not a computer virus. This is real. Your brain doesn't work like everyone else's. And that's exactly why your message isn't going to sound like everyone else's. The world doesn't need another copy paste influencer. It needs someone who thinks differently, someone who sees connections others miss, and someone who feels deeply and isn't afraid to say the thing that everyone else is tiptoeing around. But you've been taught to see your wiring as a problem. You've been told you're too much, too intense, too all over the place. So you dim it, you edit yourself, you try to fit into a mold that was never made for you. And then you wonder why nothing feels right. That's because you're trying to build someone else's calling with your anointing, and that's never going to work. So here's what we're doing on this show. Every episode, I'm bringing someone on who decided to stop waiting. Someone who wrote the book, built the business, launched the thing, shared the story, not because they had it all figured out, but because they answered the call. And this first episode, this is just me pulling up my own chair. This is me saying, "Hey, I'm Brandon Lynette, and I'm special because I refuse to let the world talk me out of what God put in me. I'm special because I stopped apologizing for my intensity. I'm special because I built Listen Bitch when people told me the name was too aggressive. I'm special because I coach people to take responsibility for their future instead of waiting for someone to rescue them. I'm special because Jesus called me and I said yes, even when I didn't feel ready. And now it's your turn." This show is for the builders, the believers, the ones who have something to say and are finally ready to say it. And if that's you, I want to hear from you. I want to know your story. I want to know what you built, what you survived, what you're creating. I want to give you the mic because the world doesn't need more people hiding. It needs more people willing to be seen. So this is your invitation to pull up a chair, take the mic, and tell me why you're special. If this episode is standing out to you already, if this show sounds like something you're going to be obsessed with, then like it, subscribe, leave a review. I don't want you to miss an episode, okay? You can go to brandonlynette.com, sign up for emails, and you can check out all the things I have over there, books, how to work with me, all of it, all right? This is just the beginning, and reach out if you feel like you have a place and you're ready to share your story.